Right, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very big welcome to ICT204 Tutorial 8. Today, we are going to be talking about the important topic that is relating to your Agile project management assignment. So it's very, very important that you basically pay a lot of attention to all of these contents we are going to be working through. We as a team have been really working very hard in terms of checking the work that you guys have submitted and making sure we provide the marking as quickly as we can, because we want to make sure we give you the feedback to be able to go and make the improvements. And I hope you guys are doing well. Personally in my group, I just want to congratulate all the people in my group who basically worked very hard, and I can see very, very good, positive outcomes from what I've basically got so far. So thank you very much for all your hard work to date. And thank you to every student who is enrolled in this subject for their hard work to date. It's very important that you continue to be working hard to be able to do the further work that is needed to be able to get the job to be completed. So continue working hard, understand the requirements we need to be talking about now in the group assignment 2, and making sure you are basically doing the progress work that is needed. The reason why I say be careful to go and do the progress work that is needed is because I've noticed from my groups, for instance, that some people were not really doing the progress work that is needed. And because this work wasn't needed, instead of having some people having an average of 20, 21 or 22, their average basically dropped to, let's say, 18 or 19. So this is extra marks that you guys are able to go and be achieving. And by achieving this extra mark, you are actually able to go and make it very easy for you to be able to go and get, hopefully, do well and pass the subject, and not simply go and aim to just simply get a pass, but let's go and get a credit. Let's go and get a distinction. Let's go and get the best possible outcome we are actually able to go and get at a particular point of time. Now, we can now talk about the first thing, which is about the assignment. We have assignment 3 that is basically part of the work. Now, the assignment 3 is exactly the same as what you guys needed to go and do in the previous session. So if I was to go and really open, the work, I can go to, Moodle. And we have very clear, the subject outline that we have available. And that outline clearly indicates for us the requirements of that particular assignment. Now, if we're going to go and look at the assignment 2, it basically gives us the pinbook case study. It gives us all the details. But it also tells us we have to finish in 4 months, and the maximum is $1.2 million. Now that's a start. That's one particular item. All of these details, the objective, the modules requirement, all of these things are clear and very easily highlighted in this particular place. But if we go and really continue looking, we have all of these desired outcomes, and we have a particular outcome in terms of the work we need to do. Now, if we go to the assignment 3, the requirements are different in terms of the scope. The scope is the same as a brief, but the details inside the scope are different. So instead of being 4 months, it is actually 3 months. Instead of being $1.2 million, things need to be done below the $1 million mark that we actually have available. We need to go and really be working as part of the group and ensuring that we do the progress file and progress work that is really needed. The difference from the other work is here you need to go and be having Slack set up. So you need to basically create Slack, and you need to start working as a group using the Slack system. You need to then go and set up Trello. You need to be able to go and ensure everybody is working through the Trello system and adding all of their user stories and all the acceptance criteria on the system. And we have to go and ensure we're going to go and apply all of these agile project management. So ladies and gentlemen, as we said, the assignment is very, very similar, and the requirements are going to go and be changing in terms of how we're going to be doing it. But if we go back to the outline again, we'll be able to go and see that 3 items. There's a Slack that is due at the end of week 8. We are currently in week 8, so they're due on Sunday. We need to see your engagement in that communication in Slack. Trello, it's due in week 9. And then the final work that needs to be provided, it's due in week 11. Again, no plagiarism. I've seen instances where people are not working equally. And if I see people are not working equally, the penalties that will be assigned to people who are not working equally will be large penalties, because it's going to basically reflect how much work they've done for the assignment. So if someone worked 100%, if someone worked 20%, the person who worked 100%, they will get, if they got 100 on the assignment, they will get 100 over 100. The person who went and only worked 20% will only go and actually get 20 over 100. So it's very, very serious, and it's very important that each person is actually working hard and engaging equally as other members to be able to ensure the work is being produced to the quality that we are expecting you to be able to go and really deliver. It is easy, it is possible. You need to make sure you show us you've worked hard to be able to go and do the work. And that's why we ask for a percentage of contribution sort of table, during which you're going to go and really mention how much work each person have actually from the team have went and have done. Now, in terms of a structure, we're going to show you some sort of examples now. We're going to show you what other people have done very shortly, show you potentially some examples. You can have an idea, form an understanding, and we'll be able to go and develop your understanding further from there. So as we said, the assessment will use agile methods, Scrum. It's not Scrum or Kanban. You're going to be using, Scrum or Kanban. You're going to be using a Kanban board, and you are going to be using a Slack for communication. The group will need to write a report, and one thing, it's about really comparing and contrasting the different methods relative to the advantages and disadvantages. So which one is better, Agile or Pinbook? And this is really this is really showing here the assessment will utilize Agile, and the groups will need to write a report that compares the two. So don't simply go and do the actual Agile work. Also try to kind of point out on how is that going to go and really compare to the other work we go and actually do. Now, you will remain with the same group as for assignment 2. Let's review assignment 3 that is available on Moodle. I've already just kind of actually went through that to show you that, but some questions that I want to ask you now. Did you guys already set up Slack? Okay, last week?
Yes, sir, we have done. Our group has done it.
So I need to basically be able to ensure that people went, and just for everybody, we need to make sure that people have went to slack.com. And we need to be able to make sure that, you go and create a section for your Slack. And I need to go and make sure that, can anybody tell me if that's Slack, what else I need to create? There's something I need to be creating here. What is it?
Channel.
Okay, I need to create a channel. Okay, so that's channel. I'm going to, let's say, create a channel. I'm going to say, let's say ICT204, whatever, it's ICT204 Agile assessment, or maybe I name it even T2 2021 Agile channel. Okay, so I create that channel. And what do I do when I create a channel? I can basically start adding the people. So whoever I want to add, I add people to that channel. So then when I add those people, I know, okay, I have this channel. I can see there are, 1, 2, 3 person in that channel. There's 3 clones of me, Fadi Kutub. And I can see if I'm going to go and say, all right, at who? I want to basically contact one of these people. I want to contact this guy, or that guy. Let me go and contact this guy. Okay, at Fadi Kutub, could you please let me know how you are progressing with the assessment? You're going to have to go and put all of this information. You can basically add all of these attachments. You could basically make a response to someone, I don't know, be friendly with people, whatever, I don't know. I'm just telling you. Now, why do we need this information? Because what's going to happen is in your assignment, the end of the assignment, what you need to go and do, you need to go and you need to ensure you are taking a screenshot of your communication, simply your communication for the assignment. And what you will be doing there is you'll be bringing all of this communication, and there will be a section for Slack. And it is under that section where you are really going to be presenting all of your communication that you've done for that particular assignment. Something we really need to go and see, because we need to see what sort of engagement, and we need to see whether the work has been done using Slack, as we have explained that it needs to go and really happen. So we need to have the real sections on Slack. We need to make sure they are basically being delivered the way we would like them to go and really be delivered to be able to get the job done. But that's really, in summary, what we're trying to go and do. That information needs to go and really be shown. So when I'm going to go and check your work, I'm going to basically go and check that you've actually already now created Slack. We need to go and actually make sure you've already started communicating. And I need to make sure that your communication is actually relevant. Now, hey, hello, how are you and what you're doing? We want to see what are you doing in terms of the work that is really related to your Agile project management assignment. So it really needs to be an important work that you're going to go and show me in terms of what you have went and you've done. Now I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Could anybody show me what they've done? Maybe show me your work, just so that we can have an idea about what sort of things you've already done. Any communication you might have done there? Anybody could show us?
So we have just talked casually on that Slack.
Okay, that's all right. Show me what you've set up.
Okay, sir. Sir, are you able to see my screen?
I can see your screen, but I can't see Slack. So go to Slack.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
These
now,
are my team members.
Okay. What problem do we have here?
Actually,
Go back to that channel. Yeah. What problem?
for this one.
Okay. First of all, did you create a channel for your assignment? Is that your assignment channel?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now that's great. Now I would be interested to go and see what is happening in the assignment channel. I need to see that you guys have started engaging. So when I'm going to go and see your file, your progress file that you're going to be submitting for me, I am going to be looking, did you actually do, or did you not start engaging and making communication about your assignment? Not casual conversation, about the assignment. So, and if you're going to go and look, like I've noticed that in the other section you were communicating in your own language, I have no problem at all with you communicating in your own language. But because everybody in the business really work in English, I recommend you communicate in English. And another reason why I would communicate in English is because I can't read whatever you're communicating that is not English. I can't really understand what do you mean and what work basically have you done if it's basically work that is not in English. So I recommend you make sure there's a channel and you're communicating in that channel, and you communicated meaningfully in terms of the work that you guys are doing. Now, all what you need to do is take a screenshot of that communication, put it on the system, and that's basically going to be more than enough for me to see what work you've already actually done. Does that
Okay,
make
sir.
sense?
Yes, sir.
Anyone else want to show me their work to get feedback? Anyone want to show me anything to get some feedback? Okay. No worries. So the first working document is really due on Sunday. Just screenshots, nothing else. It's basically confirming that you have set up your group in Slack and some examples of the messages. Now, if, for example, we're having a group with 4 students, and we see that 2 students have actually communicated and 2 students haven't actually went and communicated. What do I do if I see there's different students? What I do is I have to go and personally, I'll have to go and assign a mark in terms of the progress file. Who do I assign a mark to? The 2 students who started contributing and are doing the job, they will get 1 mark each because this submission is worth 1 mark. The person or the people in that group who haven't made any contribution to that engagement in Slack won't get any mark for that progress file. It's as simple as that. They either get the mark or they either do not get the marks. And we basically, could basically go and show people in terms of the work that basically went and got delivered. So we can see it, we can give the mark accordingly. And that's really the bottom of things. So if you see a member who you've told them to come and they didn't come to the group and they didn't add themselves, don't stress, guys. You've done your job. I recommend you basically communicate to them, send them an email saying, you guys are not contributing to the group, see your lecturer or better see your tutor, and the tutor will go and make further follow-ups with those groups to basically say, why aren't they engaging? And they can, take the actions that are necessary. But bottom line, make sure there is evidence if they're not contributing, especially send an email to see us so that we know what's happening. And then don't stress, because if they're not working, for example, in a progress file, we will basically be not marking you down because someone else is not doing their job. Something very important for you guys to know about. Now, you would need a cover sheet. Okay, the cover sheet. So you'd same as every single submission, you guys were expected to go and make a progress file, and you make sure you basically put a cover sheet. The same thing applies here. If you're not going to go and do your cover sheet, you are going to go and be losing a mark accordingly. So it's very important to basically go and have the cover sheet and make sure it's basically showing the work that needs to go and be completed. If you don't hand on time from the group leader, if the work is not handed on time, we may apply penalty, we may not give a mark. So I really encourage you, it's a very, very simple task. I really encourage you to go take a screenshot, take a cover page, and put all of that information on the system to make sure you're going to go and get the mark that you basically deserve. Any question on this item, guys? Any question at all on this?
Excuse me, sir.
Tell me, my friend.
So for the first task, the screenshot, how many screenshots must we upload? Just
Mate, 1 or 2 screenshots. You don't need much. You just need to see that you started engaging and working on your assignment. So it's not a big deal. It's a very easy.
it's a cover page and 2-3 screenshot.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, sir. Thank
Not
you.
much. Alrighty. Any other questions, guys? Alrighty. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are a number of things that are due. So just to let you know, by Sunday, we have some items that are available. So you need to basically go and set up things on Slack by Sunday and submit it. And that will be an automatic, you get a mark. And that's basically one benefit I'll be very happy that you guys got. Then you need to go and use Trello. Now, Trello for project management is very simple. So if I was to go, same as we have here, if I'm going to go and say, let me go and open, let's say Trello.com. So if you go to Trello.com, for instance, you'll be able to go and again add your team members. I haven't added someone, it's just only me, but you then will be able to go and create a board. And that board really is really a board that shows you all of these stages of work that needs to go and be done. You know how I told you can create earlier, I spoke in a lecture, I said you can create like a visual board which shows you the work that needs to be done. You create a backlog. This is all the stages, every single item. I could create as many user stories as I need. You know, user story 6, you know, add title. You know, user story 7, add title. User story 8, add title. User story 9, add title. So I can add as many stories as I would like to go and add to be able to ensure, you know, we know all of these users. All of these features that we're trying to go and develop. We can then really add the description within things like, as a student, I would like to have a Moodle access so that I can download my course materials. So basically that become, you know, something like a very simple understanding about the work that I'm trying to go and do. And from there, we'll be able to go and really save it. And then when I have this sort of user story, I have an understanding of what it is. You know, I told you about a story point. So you basically put the size, how big is that user story? And then when you have all of these user stories, when you basically have them there, you might put the priority, for example, I don't know, maroon is, let's say, priority 1. So I might go and say, all right, that's, you know, that item is priority 1. So, you know, in terms of items, you know, okay, these are priority 1 items. So the priority 1 items, I'm going to go and put them all the way on top. Okay, red is what? Red is priority 2. So we're going to put the priority 2s after. This was going to be, I don't know, we're going to go and label them priority 3. And obviously, if something is priority 3, when the people are going to go and work on them, they're going to go and work on them differently. They're going to go and decide, you know, what items they are going to go, you know, and work on when they're going to start development. So when you create all of this backlog, what's going to basically happen? Imagine all of these items are here. I can just move them. If all of these stories are here, you know exactly what's priority 1. You know exactly what's priority 2. So what will happen when you want to start working on a sprint? You will have a group of project managers, or the group of actually Scrum team members. They're going to come and say, all right, guys, we need to go and try to do something. Right, so you can say, all right, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to go and have to go and work on a particular item. We're going to have to go and decide on, you know, what we need to go and work on. So they will come and say, all right, now we're going to work on these first priority items. So we might say, well, we're going to work on these user stories. And then when they want to work on these user stories, they'll start basically saying, all right, how are we going to work on them? And that's where you start looking at the details. That's where you start putting a description. As an administrator, I want to have an admin login to the CMS system so that I can manage the system users. So you basically go and start creating all of this description of what is really needed. And when you create that description of what is needed, you'll be able to then assign the people. So this is Fadi Kutub going to be assigned to this task. You can even go and assign, you know, the due dates, you know, something this needs to be done by this particular day. And you could go and say, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and also create something like a, I don't know, an activity, or I might be able to go and create a checklist. Say, all right, you know, so acceptance checklist. Okay, what is a checklist? What is that? Okay, we're going to go and have to go and say, well, how do we need to make sure that something has been done? Well, admin can open the login website. Okay, admin can enter username and log in into the system. Great, so that's the second thing. Admin can create new accounts based on different permissions. Great, admin can forward the users, the new usernames to their to the relevant people. So you basically create some sort of a checklist, and that checklist, it basically helps you to go and double check when you want to go and you know, check that something has been done. All right, did we really do the job? Is it completely done? Is it not? You'll be able to also maybe create another checklist. So you might be able to go and say, all right, I want to have another checklist for, you know, planned work. Okay, great. So what is a planned work? Well, I want to go and, I don't know, design design the system, whatever it is. You know, you create all of these checklists and you make sure once they're done, all of these tasks are actually being completed. But the bottom line is you are creating all of these user stories, and these user stories have to go here. You might basically only include user story, just the details explaining what it is. You know, as a user, I want to do something so that I can really go and achieve an outcome. Once we go and start moving here, we start really looking at the details in terms of creating the details, you know, priorities, time, people, checklists, and so on. And these checklists starts basically moving, you know, when people work on them, they do design, they do develop, they do testing. And once they're tested, they're basically completed. And once they're completed, they basically eventually, they need to reach a stage where things are going to go and be released to be able to go and ensure we're going to go and give them to the client. But you see, the naming convention I'm using are things like planning, designing, developing, testing, completing, is because I'm trying to use a more conventional name, something that is really more related to what will happen in a real environment, in a IT sort of environment to get the job done. Does that make sense, guys? Is that clear? Do you have any question on the use of Kanban? This is a Kanban board we're creating in Trello. Any questions on that? Okay. All right, so moving back to the lecture. So we need to go and work on Trello and set up Trello, you know, very soon. We need to be able to go and make sure we're gonna show the work that was done for that. We need to then submit your final work that is basically going to do in week 11. But this week, we have to go and set up Slack. Next week, we need to go and start setting up Trello and submitting it. And then after that, we need to go and ensure we are going to be submitting the final work to ensure that we're getting the work submitted on time and we are basically eligible for maximizing the marks that we could go and get. Now, further guidance will be provided next tutorial on the working documents. You must basically stay in your same group and ensuring you guys are working on getting the job done. Now, there are a number of templates available for the report. So, you know, we need to review all of this work. So I'm going to try to show you various items. Your priority basically must be on setting up Trello. And at the moment, setting up Slack and handing them screenshots from Slack only from the group leader. Now, we don't want you to be late. We want you to go and get the job done and submit it on time. Now, for us to go here and try to go and show you what is on Moodle. There are a number of documents that are actually available today. And we're talking particularly under week 8. So if you see, you can see, you know, an example of using Slack. So for us to go and open that Slack here, guys, what is missing here? Anybody could see what is missing?
Cover letter.
The cover letter. So you need to have the cover page which shows the names of the students. I'm not really too interested about, you know, how you went, how you set it up step by step. I really don't care about this. I want to really, for me personally, now other tutors might want to show the steps, no problem. For me personally, all what I want to see, I want to see that you guys are starting to go and engage together. So what I'll be looking here, like, what do you think I'll notice straight away from here? What do you think I can see from here? Do I see any problem here? What do you think?
Just the direct message.
Okay, that's one. And what else?
All the messages are done at the same time.
That's one. But I want you to look, Muhammad, Bikash, Muhammad, Bikash, Muhammad.
Yeah, no engagement.
Where is the other person? Where is Karandeep? Can you see?
Maybe it's on next page.
Maybe it's on next page, but I can't see it. And if you're going to submit this for me, who's going to get a mark?
Muhammad and
Only
Vikas.
Mohammed and Vikas.
Okay, what is Karandeep going to get?
0.
Nothing. Okay, and that's really the point that I'm trying to go and really try to show you. This needs to go and be available. I need everyone to be very clearly engaging, and I need the discussion to be appropriate. You know, welcome to Slack. Thank you. What's going on, bro? Hope you're fine. Yep, perfectly all right. Okay, I need to see more work that is really focused on a job that needs to go and be done. So I need you to focus on this sort of work in terms of the things you need to do. That's really my view from that perspective. If you go and see here another, you know, Slack, you can see here that they've done a cover letter. That's good. You can see again, you know, they have created a group. And if I go down,
You can see it, sir.
Oh, sorry, mate. Can you see it now? Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the cover letter. They try to create, you know, a system for communication. They set up the system, but let me have a look. Okay, how many people there are in the group here?
2.
1, 2, 3, 4. How many people communicating? Only 2
Only
people.
2.
Okay, so what are you going to get? 2 people will get a mark. 2 people won't get any marks. So that's what I'm telling you. Do not stress. If people don't do their job, they will lose the marks. You won't lose any marks. They are the one who are going to go and be losing a mark accordingly because they haven't really done the job that is needed. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any questions at all?
No, sir.
Alrighty. Well, I'm going to go and there's actually obviously other examples available here relating to Trello. I'll show you some, you know, very shortly, and I'll maybe also show you some examples about the shell template, about the work that we are able to go and do. But as a beginning now, you have the understanding about the items that I would like you to go and work on to be able to go and ensure we are going to get the job to be done. So it's not very hard. As you can see, it's a very, very simple request. I'm not asking you for rocket science. I'm just asking you simply to start engaging on the system and showing me that you are attempting to go and do the job. It's as simple as that. Now, we're going to go to Trello now, and I want to basically try to go to the Trello as I showed you. I actually went straight away to the details to show you how I use things as part of Trello. But let's just go and really have a look. They're talking about, the Trello has to do, has doing, has done. Now, what did I do? Did I present these for you, or did I present something that is different? What did I show you? Did I show you these, or did I show you something else? When I showed you Trello, what stages did I show you guys?
To do.
I showed you to do. Where was that? Did I name it to do, or did I name it something else? What did I name it? All right. What did I name it, guys? Can you see any to do here?
Product backlog.
Yeah. Did you see any to do? Do you see any done? Do you see any in progress? Do you see anything like this here? Or do you see something different? I'm using something that is different, yeah? I'm using planning, designing, developing, testing, completing. Why am I doing this? Why have I changed names? Can anybody tell me? Anyone? Sorry, could you repeat?
To make work easier.
To make work easier. That's probably one, but
Because
it's
we
also
are doing agile project, that's why.
because we're doing a software project.
Okay.
In a software, something more like software have development, software have testing. Okay, software has designing. So I want to use naming convention that are more reflective of the tasks we need to go and do, rather than simply sticking to the standard names such as, to do, doing, and done. To do, really, what does it do? To do represent the storyboard or the product backlog. That's what I've just told you. Doing represent really separate sprints, every sprint, and you can see in the work that I showed you there, you see I went and I created sprints. I created sprint 1, and you can create sprint 2 and sprint 3 and sprint 4. You can create as many sprints, and these sprints are supposed to go and deliver something that actually going to be working for the client. So we're delivering something that is ready for them to go and actually go and use. And eventually we're talking about all of these done, doing, which is representing the sprints, and done means exactly that. Something has been really completed. But if we go to that website, and if we go and look at Trello, you can see how you can go to boards. You can see that, it's showing you that thing that I'm telling you, to do, doing, done. It's showing you how they can add attachments. It's showing how they can add people, how they can add checklists. And that checklist show you how much of the work has already been done. So if I was to go back to what I showed you earlier, if I have here a checklist, look at the checklist. Can you see how the checklist is at the moment listed as 0 out of 3? Can you see this 0? If I go and click on it now and I make a tick, all right, that's done. I go back and you can see how that's changed to 1/3, which means we've done part of the work that needs to be completed. So this is really the same as what they're showing you here, how things will start when they're being completed. You can track what is really progressing. That's 6 out of 10. That's 2 out of 10. That's, whatever else is being done. Here, you can see it's a to-do. there's no tasks. Okay, nobody's doing it. There's no task being done just yet because it is something we need to go and do. Maybe you've assigned someone to do it, but we haven't really started to go and doing it. When we start to do it, we start basically having tasks. When you finish, that's all the tasks. It's 10 over 10. Everything has been really completed. So you can really look at that boards. You know, it's a beginning. There's many more things. You can put timelines, you can put schedules, you can put attachments. You can put cards which contain everything. You can, you know, read more about what is in the cards. You know, we can manage a deadline, you know, provide feedback, assign tasks. You can, for example, I would say, well, I want to go and I want to assign someone else. I can, if there's more than one group, I can just change a member and I can say someone else is going to go and be doing that task. And automatically when I save, that member will be informed that some work has been already assigned to them to be able to go and really do. So you can see how there are other features. I really encourage you to go and really look at this. There are other things you can really connect it to, like Confluence, for example, is a tool that is available that allows you to go and save a lot of knowledge bases. And I remember we used to use it. It helps with change management process. You know, you have, you know, Google Drive, Dropbox, whatever they are, all of these tools you can go and integrate as part of your work to be able to go and ensure the job is going to go and be completed. So in summary, there's a lot you can go and do in Trello. We're probably only touching the, you know, the very minimum side of things. Trello is owned by a company called Atlassian. And what Atlassian have, it has another system called Jira. And if you go to Jira, you'll be able to go and see, let me see where Jira I have here. If you go to Jira, you'll be able to see that there's many more features in Jira. If you're using that, you know, you can still have the backlog. It's displayed differently. Obviously, you can have active sprints, which is what people are actually working on at any point of time. You can have issues. You can have, you know, open issues, close issues, done issues. You can have things like reporting about how we are progressing in terms of the delivery of things. So this is more an integrated tool that is basically used in real life. You can schedule releases. You can, whatever you need to do. You have a more integrated tools that are available that you can assign various people, add teams, invite teams, dashboards to see, you know, how we're progressing. All of these things are available, but you need to go and set them up, obviously. There are, you know, many dashboards. You know, a default dashboard will show you what is happening in very quick, you know, your company, what's assigned to me, welcome to Jira, what's the project. So you can see what you need to be working on. If every day I go and assign work to you, you'll be able to see exactly what I'm assigning to you at any point of time and what you need to work on at any particular day of time. And that's really important because in an agile environment, especially in a sprint, in the Scrum environments, we really assign you work every single day, and we basically track what you're doing. We track the issues, and everything basically what you need to do is very clearly assigned to you. So you'll be able to go and track all of that information. But you're not going to be using Jira here. I would tell you that Jira is used a lot in real life in industry of project management, especially agile project management. But for you, you're simply going to be using Trello for your assignment. That's more what we need you to do, to know and do at this stage in terms of where you are in your studies. Now, you can use Trello as a web app, or you can download a desktop application to be able to go and use. You basically need to go and there's a YouTube of sign up in the basics, you know, what else you could do that is available on Moodle. So if you go to Moodle, you'll be able to go and find that the information how to use Trello. So those videos obviously are available. There's many things are available. You know, what is Kanban? You know, Scrum versus Kanban. What are the differences? We're going to cover this in the tutorial today. But the bottom line is, if you want to go and understand about how to use Trello, it's a video. As I said, it is 20 minutes. I'm not going to go through all of it because it's going to take a lot of time. But using Trello for Scrum, again, they're explaining how you're going to go and use this. There are obviously features and things you can do, which I encourage you to go and really learn. But now we get to that stage where we really suggest you go and use your Kelly email address to sign up. And we recommend you go and provide that sign up to your group leader to be able to go and configure the group in Trello. So what I want to go and do now is I want to give you guys some time to be able to go and really go and sign up to Trello. So I would say the easiest way for you to go and do is, let me just go and show something else. The easiest way would be to go and go here to Trello.com. So once you're going to go and to Trello.com, I need you to go and sign up for Trello.com. And once you basically go and try to create the sign up, you'll be able to go and use your Google email. And once each team member is basically signed up, I would like you to go and share that sign up details with your group leader. And the group leader needs to go and really create same as what I have created here. The group leader will need to be able to go and create. There are so many boards, by the way. When you basically arrive to the, let's say we go back to the home page, you will see so many boards. You will basically go and say, I would like to go and create a new board. And you can name the board whatever you would like, test. And you create that board. Now you have a test board, and to that board you can add any information. You can add a backlog, you can add a sprint one to do, or sprint one planning, or whatever to do, sprint one plan. You can basically add whatever you'd like, and under the backlog you can start adding whatever cards, which is basically your stories about the work that we need to go and do. We'll try to go and create all of those details. So you need to go through these steps to be able to go and get to this stage. But the first step is you need to go to Trello.com and you need to go and sign up. And once you sign up, you need to give your login details or your ID to your group leader, and the group leader will be able to, after they create the board, they'll be able to add all of you as part of the board. Now, I don't want to proceed before I ensure today that task has been completed. At least I know it starts making your job easier in terms of what we need to go and do for next week. So please, let's start working on this task. So guys, you have 10 minutes to be able to go and create your account on Trello. Again, I remind you, you need to, each of you, to go and sign up, preferably using your use your KOI email. And I recommend then you send all of those details to your group leader. And then your group leader will be able to create the board and will be able to add the details, your details to that board, and then you can share your screen with me and show me to confirm that you guys have done what is needed. So I'm going to give you that minute to be able to go and think about it and show us what you've done. So have 10 minutes and show me the work you're going to be doing. Thank you very much for your hard work. So I just got a question asked to me about which board do we go and use when we go and log in to Kanban. And the truth is, when you go and log in, there are many boards. If we go to the home office here, you basically would be able to go and use any of the boards that are available. There might be like sample boards that are available. You can choose any of the sample boards, or you can just simply create a new board. You don't need to kind of use an existing one. When you create a new board, you'll be able to go and have a board that is like this one that I showed you. It's totally empty, and then you'll be able to add all you need to yourself. So you don't need to go and create a board that is already, they created it. It's up to you. If you want to go and use their board, then you have to go and adjust it to fit with your details and what you would like to go and really present. All right, guys, anyone have already finished in setting up Trello and they can show us what they've done?
Sir, I have done something, so can I share my screen?
Of course you can. All right, Vikash, now I can see that you're basically there by yourself. Did you add the other people? Can you please press on the invite button?
Yes, sir, I have invited them.
Okay, and where are they? Are they here in the class?
I think they are not active.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm here. I'm
okay,
doing it.
come on, accept. We want to see you connected now to this board. We want to see your name, so make sure you accept the invitation now.
So, do I have to invite them once again?
Invitation hasn't been.
If you've already invited them, they would have an email, and they will be able to open the email and connect back. So they just need to go to the email and connect. So so maybe guys just check the email and let's just see. Okay, you can see how there's one more person now here. Click on that.
Yeah, he's here.
Okay, so there's one person who just joined you. What about the rest? Is there anyone else in the class?
The other guy is not in class.
Okay, that's okay. But these names, do they need to be the same or do they need to change?
No, sir, same Aswin Dungana and Vikas
No,
Pawar.
no. I'm talking about these names here in terms of the cards, in terms of the main boards. What do we need to do? Do we need to change them or keep them the same?
This one same, and I think we need to change this introduction.
Yeah,
and
you need to
body
change them and have the right titles. Okay, just change one of them. What are you going to name the first one?
I changed them to introduction right now.
No,
just now.
say change it to product backlog. Okay, and then I want you to press enter.
Yes, sir.
And then I want you can add a card. What's a card? What does that mean? You're adding a card, you're adding a feature of the work that needs to go and be done. So you can name it user story 1. Then don't worry about the top, just write, yes, story 1, for example, whatever it is. Add card, you see how you now have a card. Click on story 1. You can then click on it. You can then add details in that story 1, like I showed you earlier. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Well done, mate. Keep up the work, and we need to go and make sure that you're doing further work on that. So you can stop sharing your screen. Thank you very much. You've done a great job.
Thanks, sir.
No worries. Anyone else would like to show us what they've done? Anyone else? Maybe all the group members have already been added, or many group members have been added. Do you want to show us?
We are working on it, sir.
Here, sir.
Okay. You want to show us?
Yeah, just a little.
Right.
Yeah, I have just started.
All right. Great. So let me see. Is there? Okay. You have 3 people already there.
Yeah.
That's great. And you're basically trying to, we need to change the names from to do, doing, and done. We need to use better names. And don't
Yeah.
worry about the project charter, because we're going to teach you how do you write. You know how I showed you today, how do you write user stories?
Yes,
I
sir.
told you we
Yeah.
need to write as a user. We need to do something to get something. We need to define, like the first thing you need to do is you need to go and define who are actually the
Yeah.
users of our system.
Yes.
Once we define that, we are able to start defining any other activities we would like to go and really work on.
All right, sir.
Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
we'll work on it, sir.
Well done, mate. Thank you very much. And yeah, we'll again show you more information as we start moving along with the more work. But well done, guys. I'm really happy with your progress on that. I'm going to now continue with the next items, but it's great to see that you guys are picking up what I'm telling you and trying to do the job accordingly. Now, Trello uses Kanban, not Scrum. Trello focuses on, the to do, which is the heart of everything to do with a Kanban. It has a continuous, flow assignment of resources. It is limited by work that can be done in terms of, we do, let's say 3 or 4 items that could be done. And the reason why is because you don't want to have too many in progress items. If you have too many in progress items that are not completed, you're basically not having the progress that is needed to be able to go and get the job to go and be completed. So we need to go and really ensure that the job is basically progressing. The most important thing is about progress, ensuring the work is basically progressing as we need it. Scrum is a repeated process of sprint that is really time-based. you use, also Trello to be able to go and create a storyboard, the product backlog. We assign all of these various phases, to doing, done, and ensuring that we have all of these user stories that we are going to be working on. So that's really what I'm trying to go and show you in terms of how we're going to go and do the work ourselves, and in terms of creating various sprints, because we are expected you to go and create various sprints for your assignment. So make sure you look exactly at the requirements we're trying to go and do. So there are many YouTubes available there. Trello plus add-in, Moodle in your own time. They are all available on Moodle. So if you go and you see all of these items on Moodle, you will be able to go and really ensure you are working on the activities that are going to be needed. So go again to Moodle, and then from there, look at all of these videos that I told you about earlier, and make sure you look at all of these add-ins. It's really, really valuable, and it's something that's going to help you to go and be able to go and do your assignment in an appropriate manner. Now, I'm going to play this very quick video for you anyway, because I would like you to really understand the difference between Scrum and Kanban. They're two various processes. They're both about delivering project, but the way they do deliver project is actually different. That's really the point of difference we're trying to go and really show you in that example. So I'm going to just play that very quickly for you to really show you the difference between Scrum and Kanban that we need to go and really bear in mind when we're actually working on delivering agile project management. So have a listen to this.
If you've found this video, the chances are you've just done a search for the difference between Scrum and Kanban. Well, you've come to the right place. Not only do I have a great video for you, I also have a cheat sheet for you to download. Hi, this is Gary. Welcome to Development That Pays. We've got a ton of stuff to get through today, so let's get straight at it. Scrum and Kanban are perhaps the best known of a whole range of agile software development methodologies. Let's break that down. Software development, in very broad terms, looks like this. The product owner decides what to build. The development team builds it. And customers use it, experience it, benefit from it in some way. What makes software development agile is that value is delivered to the customer in small increments. And importantly, feedback is gathered from the customers and fed back into the process. It's the product owner's job to take input from customers and from other stakeholders and to organize it into a prioritized list of features and user stories. This list is known as the product backlog. Now, what happens between the product backlog and the customer is what distinguishes Scrum from Kanban. As we'll see, each has its own routines and rituals, and it's this person's job to help the product owner and the development team to adopt and maintain good habits. In Scrum, the role is known as the Scrum Master. In Kanban, the role is known as the Agile Coach. Something that Scrum and Kanban have in common is that both are pull systems. Without getting into too much detail, the pull system ensures that work gets from product backlog to customer in the shortest possible time. The pull system also helps to uncover bottlenecks in the process, which helps to ensure that work gets from product backlog to the customer in the shortest possible time. As you'll see in a moment, Scrum and Kanban implement the pull system in two strikingly different ways. Scrum teams work in a series of sprints, most commonly 2 weeks in duration. Each sprint is preceded by a sprint planning meeting run by the Scrum Master and attended by the product owner and the development team. Together, they select high priority items from the product backlog that the development team believe it can commit to delivering in a single sprint. This is the pull I was talking about earlier. The selected items are known as the sprint backlog. For the next 2 weeks, the development team focuses on working through the items in the sprint backlog and only those items in the sprint backlog. In all but the most exceptional circumstances, any new requirements that crop up have to wait for the next sprint. It's common practice for Scrum teams to use a board to track the progress of work. It's called a Scrum board or an Agile board, or even, slightly confusingly, Kanban board. Each day during the sprint, there's a Scrum meeting. It's a standard meeting where the team takes a maximum of 15 minutes to discuss progress and to identify any blockers. At the end of the sprint, the work completed during the sprint is packaged for release. Any incomplete items are returned to the product backlog. The sprint ends with 2 rituals. The sprint review, which is a demonstration of new functionality to the stakeholders, and the sprint retrospective, which is an examination of what went well, what went badly, what could be improved. The aim of the retrospective is to ensure that the next sprint is more efficient and effective than the last. And that's Scrum. Kanban does a few things differently. There's no 2-week sprint. Kanban is a continuous process. And of course, there's no sprint backlog. The pull system in Kanban happens in a different way via work in progress limits. Each column on the Kanban board has a work in progress limit related to the team's capacity. For example, a team with 2 developers would set a limit between 2 and 4 items. The lower, the better. Let's see the pull system in action. When testing of a particular feature is complete, the corresponding ticket moves to the done column. The empty column is a signal to the previous column to send another ticket. That's the pull. Similarly, when the build column is almost empty, it's a signal to the dev team to select another high priority item from the backlog. That's the pull again. Kanban has a number of rituals in common with Scrum, although the naming is slightly different. Daily stand-up meetings, demos for stakeholders, and retrospectives. So now you know the difference between Scrum and Kanban. 2 important things to say at this point. First thing, neither Scrum nor Kanban are as prescriptive as I may have made them appear. High-performing teams discover what works for them and flex the system accordingly. Secondly, I've put together a cheat sheet for you that covers everything that we've talked about today, plus an additional note that I think you will find useful. You can grab a copy from my blog via the link that you'll find somewhere around this video. If you like this video, please click to like.
So that's basically, guys, showing you some of the, in terms of mainly the differences between how Kanban really operates and how the Scrum really operates. And you see the Scrum is much more kind of, if you want, streamlined, much more like a step-by-step process, much more like you need to know the requirements. You need to go to like various stages in sprint planning, sprint review, sprint retrospective, and the way the cycle really goes and work at times. So I see people often using this Scrum as part of the work in terms of delivering agile project management in big companies. For example, I know a friend of mine, they have, I think, 2 or 3 levels of working in terms of Scrum project development in Macquarie Bank, and they deliver amazing work all the time and always basically trying to go and develop new innovations. So obviously a lot of benefit is basically able to go and really go and deliver from that perspective. Now, there are a number of questions that we need to go and really answer. And there's also another thing in terms of we need to go and really start working on that assignment. So what I want to go and do is I would like to go and highlight to you a particular important item that I believe you need to go and bear in mind in terms of developing the assignments, the agile assignments. So let me just try to get that ready. Give me 1 second. I'll show you. So that is the file that I would like to go and really show you, like especially a very, very small components. Now, obviously, it's basically talking about all of these various users of a system. The first thing you need to do into developing user stories for agile project management is you need to go and understand who are going to be my users. Now, to be able to go and identify who are going to be the users, you need to basically go and really look at your assignment, and you need to be able to go and look particularly to the subject outline, because in that subject outline, you'll be able to go and find what are the requirements of that assignment, and you'll be able to really go and you'll be able to go and see, for example, in the subject outline, that we are going to be delivering a content management system. You'll be able to know what it is. You'll be able to know what are we doing at. We'll be able to go and know what's the objective. So if you look here, for example, we need to be able to know GP names, GP details, qualifications. We need to have patient details. We need to have product details. We need to have overall vaccination details. So you need to ask yourself this question: who is really going to be using that system? Is the user going to be the health department, let's say health minister? Is it going to be the patients going to be using it? Is it going to be the GPs who are going to be using it? Is it going to be the admin people going to be using it? So you need to really first thing understand who is going to be using your system. You need to then ask yourself, what are they going to be using the system for? They're going to check the names and details of GPs. Okay, great. So who is going to be doing that? I don't know, maybe as a health department, as a minister or whatever, we're going to go and check the names and details of the GPs and qualification to ensure they are equipped to go and work on helping deliver particular outcomes. So whatever, you need to kind of clearly identify who are the users. And that's really, you can't identify the users before you really read the information on the briefing document. Now, when you read that information, you are actually able to go and start looking at a table, creating a table. You can define who are the users in that table. So who is going to be using my system? And then after you look at who is actually my users, you can then start writing a backlog, start basically writing the user story. As a director, I want to do this. Okay, great. So that I can achieve this outcome. So as I told you, how are we going to go and write the user story? By having 3 items. Director is directly related to the users we've actually defined up there as a director. And we need to have like a satisfaction. How do we kind of make sure that what we want to achieve has been really satisfied? So you really look at that in terms of the I don't know, a bullet points of acceptance criteria or whatever else you would like to go and name it. But in bottom line, we need to make sure that we have acceptance criteria that are going to be verifying that that particular user story has been achieved. Now, there are other things obviously we need to go and do. We need to kind of have more than one sprint. Sprint 1, there's planning, there's review. You need to kind of tell me, what are we working on in terms of the various stages? You can see all of those details. You have sprint 2, you have a sprint retrospective. It's about the learning from what we've done, what is wrong. You can see, various sprints, because we're telling you we want you to have more than one sprint. You can see things like a conclusion. You can see things like a group contribution. What have they done? We recommend always to kind of have the, before that, have a table, contribution percentage. Okay. And I don't know, Fatty, 100%. Sam, 50% contribution. Debbie, 100%, and Sushan, 100%. So this way we know exactly who contributed to what at any particular point of time. But obviously this is just some information, and you have all of these, screenshot for Slack communication. And we have all of these screenshots that you can see so many screenshots there, but you also have so many screenshots. You see how much engagement you can see here in Trello. You can, what's happening in Trello, how there's, the backlog initially, then there's all of these various sprint 1, sprint 2, and I encourage you to use various names in that, but you can see how there's sprint 1 details, sprint 2 details, and how things basically start moving through. You can see various priorities, you can see due dates, and you basically see the detailed information. The user stories are being clearly written here. They can add a checklist here, they can add details, but you can see that they're filling details in terms of user stories and what those user stories are expected to do. But all of this started where? It started up here, where we went and we clearly define who the users are. And once we define the users, we were able to start defining all of these user stories relating to the users and all of these acceptance criteria. And that's really what you guys need to be working on in details to be able to get the job done. But that's something we can further discuss in details next week. Any questions, guys? Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, many questions to try to go and answer. I'm going to go through them quickly because I spent more time to explain to you about your assignment, because I believe that's going to go and add much more value for you. Question 1, what are the 3 essential elements of a useful Azure Charter? I told you we need to know exactly the vision, the mission, and the success criteria. The vision, why we're doing it. The mission, what are we actually going to do to be able to go and make sure that the outcome and that vision has been achieved. And the success criteria is basically the test that goes and describe the effects. How do we ensure that we were able to go and achieve the success? So what outcome and what measures we need to go and really be achieving to ensure that a particular outcome has really been delivered. This is exactly the same thing, but it's actually simply giving you an example. What's the vision? To improve the delivery of care services by harnessing the power of technology. Great. What's the mission? How are we going to, what will be done to achieve that mission? Well, we're going to go and leverage best practices from similar organizations to guide decision making and to guide implementation. So we need to go and make sure we're going to go and really get the job done. We need to go and make sure we're going to get all of those best practices available from other organizations to be able to help us to reach the right goal. What's the project success criteria? Well, the success criteria is basically we need to have an outcome delivered. For example, reduction in medication errors, reduction in waiting times, improved bad turnarounds when unoccupied. We need to be able to reach a particular outcomes to make sure the objective has been received. So we need to look at the vision, we need to look at the mission, and we need to look at how do we go and ensure that a particular success criteria has actually been able to go and be delivered. How would we describe the vision? We gave you very specific points. What is the name of the project? Who is it for? When will it be done by? What will it do? What will it not do? What is the benefit for the business? And what is the benefit for the consumer? These are clearly the things we need to go and be mentioning to be able to go and really get the job to be completed. What are the 4 steps of creating the backlog? Well, I told you guys we need to make sure we're going to define the functionality. What are the primary functionality that we're trying to go and do? And to be able to understand the primary functionality, we need to understand the journey that people go through to be able to get an outcome to be delivered. If I want to go and send an item and get it delivered via Australia Post, there are many steps in that process. I need to go to Australia Post, fill the details, and then I need to go and ensure it's basically being delivered. Now, what happened there? There are so many features that needs to go and happen throughout the way. There are things that need to happen when you drop it to Australia Post. There are things that need to be happen when the item is moving from Australia Post to another area. There are things that need to be happen when the item is being delivered to the recipient. So what needs to go and really happen there is we need to think about all of these steps and what happens, what functionalities needs to happen throughout these various steps. Now, when I look at those functionalities that needs to be happening across the various steps, I need to go and say, well, which functionality is having higher priority than other functionalities? And once I go and decide on the priority of all of these features that we want to go and deliver, that's when we go and say, all right, let me combine all of those features that I need to be able to have a minimum viable product. The minimum features that I need to be able to go and ensure that I delivered the outcome that is really needed. I delivered something that is working, same as what the customer really goes and actually need. We need to think about the fundamentals of Kanban, and we spoke about a number of things. We spoke about how it's trying to go and have work from the to-do all the way to, the done items. It encouraged basically the team to be able to to begin with the building of a minimum viable product. We consult with people directly. We allow change to go and happen, continuous change all the way until we go and agree on delivering the outcome that is needed. But simply, we start with what we actually go and do, and then we go and make incremental evolutionary change to be able to keep on getting the outcome we would like to go and deliver. And we improve the productivity of our resources by ensuring, we are training them on the way that things needs to go and be done, and by trying to go and keep the same people working on a team as much as we can to be able to go and be, if you want, trained on really getting the outcomes to go and be delivered. Now, there are videos available on Moodle that I encourage you to go and play that talks about what is actually there, talks about Kanban, talks about Scrum. I really encourage you to go and play those videos to ensure you have a detailed understanding of more than simply what we are presenting you. So play the videos, look at more information, and try to learn what really happens in practice when it comes to using those various practices. What are the fundamentals of Scrum as described in the YouTube? We will cover this in more details next week, but if you go to Scrum, you'll be able to go and see many information again available on Scrum. It talks about the product owner, Scrum team. You can see all of these various framework. You can see the backlog we spoke about. We see the sprint planning, sprint backlog, which is what are we going to be working on across one sprint. You can see the daily Scrum meeting, people basically meeting to answer some questions such as what have we done yesterday, what are we doing today, and what are the problems preventing my progress. We need to go and deliver something, and we need to review the work we've done. And we need to go, and this is where the client review what we've done, and retrospective. We need to learn what we're doing great in terms of our work and what are we not doing so great. And as a result, we need to go and really fix. So this is where a lot of the learning goes and really happen. But there's obviously a lot available about Scrum, but we'll talk more about it next week. But you can see what you showed you, the backlog to do in progress, block done.
You are not
whatever.
sharing your screen, sir.
Oh, all right, that's not great. Yeah, I was just talking to you about the Scrum. I said how there's a owner, the team, and I said how there's various steps like the backlog, the planning. Planning is what we want to go and do. The sprint backlog is the items we would like to go and work on. And I told you about the daily Scrum meeting, which is meeting every day to see how we are progressing. Eventually, we get an output to be delivered, and the client goes and review what we've done. And after they review, we also need to go as a team to look ourselves and say, what have we done great? And what have we not done? So that we won't actually have the same issues going and occurring again. But you can see how there's a backlog in various stages, but we'll talk further about that next week when we talk in more details about Scrum. Any questions, guys? Okay. Now, how would you build a Kanban board, guys? It's very simple. This is a sample that we showed you, but I actually showed you in the classroom. It is as simple as getting 2 sheets of paper, big ones, rolls, put all of these rolls on the wall, big wall that is basically viewable across the business, make lines between all of these, items. So make quick different lines. Name these line stages. For example, I might say this is a, backlog. It's not very easy to write here, but this is backlog, and this is where you kind of have like all of these cards, and on those cards you can write. It's like a sticky notes. You can write your user story, as a user or whatever, as a nurse, for example. I want to be able to go and do something. So we'll be able to kind of create all of these user stories relating to the nurse or whatever it is. But it's really the bottom line is we create all of these boards, 2 roles on the wall. We kind of make various sections of that. We start naming various stages, whatever we want to name them. And we start putting sticky notes, which basically talk about the user stories we're trying to go and really deliver. That is a simple way for us to go and really do it. And that's what they're saying here. They're saying, well, get the roles, get the strips, put them in a wall that is very, very shown in the business, make the lines there, and then get the cards 6x4 and start writing on nurse cards. What are we trying to go and really deliver? And when you write your cards, put them in the order of priority, and then you're ready to go and start working using the Kanban board. Any questions, my friends, from anything that I've covered today?
So do we really have to buy the paper?
No. That's just an example in real life. For you in this for the organization, for what the work you're doing, you just simply need to use Kanban. You just simply need to use Trello and create everything on Trello. You don't need to do it. But I'm telling you, in real life, it's as simple as putting some big sheets on the wall and create the board where everybody is able to go and see in the organization and come and work with you. But no, you can actually use a system. You don't need to go and create a board in your home. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you very kindly, guys, for all your hard work, all your time. We really appreciate all the efforts you've been putting. We are now week 8. There's only a few more weeks to go. So keep on pushing hard. I believe in you, and we believe you can achieve great outcomes. Keep up the great work, and thank you very much for all your hard work.